Bonjour! My name is Amanda. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a 9th year teacher, and this upcoming year I'll be teaching grade 1 to French Immersion. Today I am going to walk you through what my storytelling tubs look like right now because they're a bit different from what I had shown you in my previous video. Before, what you would have seen is like a full-on tub that had all my storytelling materials inside of it, and since then I have made individual kits that will be more appropriate for use this upcoming school year. So I'm going to flip the camera around and I'm going to show you a look inside what I have made in terms of, again, like where I've gotten a lot of the materials from, like ways to use storytelling tubs, especially to support emerging multilinguals. I'm working on a guide that will walk you through some of those things, but if you do have any questions, as always, I'm happy to answer, so just leave them down below and I'll respond as soon as I can. Okay, so let's get started. The first kit that I have is a kit for dinosaurs, and I have two of these. The dinosaurs are a little bit different between the two, so what I've made here is a picture of what is inside each of the kits. So actually I believe this one goes here, and this one goes here. So my next step to finish off these kits is to secure these, and I'm still debating if I want to put them on top of the kit or if I want to open them and put them on the lid here. And I'm more so leaning towards the inside of the lid, and I'm sorry if you can see all these weird reflections, but c'est la vie. So what I've done with each of these, let me start that over again. So my goal for each of the kits was to include at the very least 2 characters, so that when students are creating stories, they can have a protagonist and an antagonist. Obviously, like, those terms would more so be introduced with older grades. Like, I don't introduce those terms in grades 1 and 2, but we do use terms that are more along the lines of like good guy and bad guy, or hero and villain, but it doesn't always have to be that. It could just be a group of friends, you know. Anyways, I wanted to make sure that I included at least 2 characters that students can use to create conversations between. And also, when we do storytelling, we focus on problem and solution, and that's often a lot easier when there's multiple characters that students could work with. Could we do with only one? Absolutely we could, but I had the materials, so I decided, I believe in almost all of my kits, to try to include 4 characters. In my dinosaur kit, I did have a little tree that did fit in here, a rock, an egg, and then some gems. So I did lay these out and I took a picture of what was in here. I did this initially so that it was easy for cleanup. Because when little kids are playing, pieces don't always stay where they're intended to stay. So I wanted to make sure that students could refer to a visual of what was inside each kit. And then I had the idea, because we are in French immersion, that I wanted to provide an immediate opportunity for vocab, for when we're writing stories or working in our journals, then vocab was accessible. So what I did on the back of these is included the exact same picture, but with some key vocab words. So I could have labeled each of the types of dinosaurs, but I figured, you know what, dinosaur is enough. If students want something a bit more complicated, then of course I can help them. And we have different strategies for like spelling as well. But I figured, you know what, this isn't too overwhelming. There's only 4 words. Most of my students would be able to manage that. So the kit, when it's open, would actually have the vocab words here. And that, oh, actually, this is a good problem for me, is this is upside down, but you know what? It's not the end of the world for me. Really, it bothers me more than it would bother them. So I think that's just fine. Anyway, so this is what the kit will look like, and then it closes up and can go away. I will show you all of the kits that I've prepared. I do have 32, so I'm not going to go into as much detail about each individual one. I just wanted to give you a look at the bins that I do have. Okay, I have some fairy themed bins. So again, I have rocks. I'm not going to open these up just because it's a bit more time consuming. I have a fairy, a gnome, some animal friends in here, some wood rounds, keys, diamond, jewels, just a bunch of different odds and ends. The next one is unicorns, and I have 2 of these. So when I'm working on building my storytelling tubs to begin with, I look at what I have available. The one big purchase for me were the animal pieces. Like, these unicorns were like a party favor at the dollar store, so that wasn't a huge expense. Like, the bigger things that I splurged on were some of the tubes, like the tubs of, like the cylindrical tubes of animals that you can find at Michael's, and normally they're $15, which I think is ridiculous. So there were a couple times where there was a sale where it was like buy one get one free or buy one get one half off, so I did multiple trips to Michael's to take advantage of that. Otherwise 30% off coupons as well. Anyway, so these are my Savannah animals. With these ones, I'll have the picture card that goes with it, but I also have vocab cards that I could include in here. Next up, I have 2 ocean animals. So there's those. I'm just making a mess on my desk that you can't see. These ones are in the jungle. And again, like the guide that I'm working on will include pictures of everything that are in the tubs, so that you can get a better look as well. This one is woodland creatures. So these ones I really liked because they are animals that are more local to us as well. And yeah, I just thought these ones would be able to form deeper connections with students. Then the last one in this set are polar or Arctic animals, or just the Arctic, and I included a little bonhomme de neige in each of these as well. If I had more time, I would have painted the snow people, but you know what, I'm not going to waste my time this summer doing that when I have other things that I could work on and would like to work on. So I'm going to pause here for a second, clean up these bins that are on the table, because those are the first 16. I do have another set of 16, and I'll show you those in a second. Alright, so in the next couple of sets, you're going to see that I have fewer objects. So for these 2, which is the farm animals, or just the farm, really I have 4 animals and like 8 rocks. So it's not too much to work with. In cases like that, I would invite students to choose some loose parts to add to their bins. So these, again, I apologize for the noise. These are pets, and I'm pretty sure all of these pieces actually came from Dollarama, which is pretty sweet. The next set is not a bin that like a storytelling tub that I originally had. What I did to create this one, which I thought was more of like a beachgoers theme, is I took some of these jewels from other bins, because like I'm only making 2 of these from the tubs that I have, and the tubs I had created so that like at least 4 kids could play at them. So my tubs still have stuff in it, and so once I created, so I have 12 tubs, and if I have 2 of these kits per tub, that's 24. So 24 of these individual kits. I have 22 students, and I wanted to give them a bit more student choice. And the cases that I'm using that I picked up from Michael's that I'll show you at the end, they hold a total of 32 of these kits. So I figured once I had the 24 from the tubs that I was just going to fill up the rest with extra bits and pieces and see what I could do. So some of these pieces I grabbed from the ocean animals bin. I also had these laser cut wood pieces, which were from, it's an online store in Canada called Stockade, Stockade, and it's based in Guelph. Anyway, so I have some of these wood cut pieces. I had some peg people laying around, so I threw those in here, just so it's more of like a day at the beach theme. I do not have an individual bin for this, but it's one that I could make if I wanted to. This one was, well, my intention for this is the community helpers. In grade 1, we focus a bit more on community helpers, and so I wanted to make sure that one of my storytelling bins was that same theme. And so I think in creating that bin, it more so came to be like a construction bin. But anyways, I threw in some people, so hopefully that can be more community helpers or family. Whatever the kids really do with it is fine by me. Again, ideally I would have painted these, but I'd rather spend my time enjoying summer. The last 8 kits that I have were from pieces that I wasn't quite sure what to do with. So I had these like parent and baby sets of animals. So I have this rabbit one, I have another rabbit one, and I have some more that I'll show you in a second. So these are actually toys that I had growing up and I had held on to because like I'm partly a hoarder, so I just had these and I wasn't sure how to use them. And when I was putting together my storytelling tubs originally, I thought these would be great, but putting like the whole family into a tub, I feel like there would be more students fighting than I want to deal with. But I thought they worked perfectly for the individual kits. So these are a part of the individual kits, and I think I'm gonna leave these like this during like a normal school year as well. So I just had the family, animals, and some jewels. And that's all I put in these ones. So I have koalas, and I have 2 sets of koalas. I have cats. There's another one of cats. Unfortunately, no dogs. And I have a monkey and a kangaroo. So those are all 32 of the kits that I have right now. I'll flip you back around, show you what I'm using to store these in, and just talk to you briefly about the cleaning for these. This is, there we go, the case that I'm using to store these kits. This case is from Michael's, and it is a bit of an investment. The entire case, including the 16 bins that come in it, was like they're selling right now for $25. And I know that's an investment. Originally, what I was planning on using for these individual storytelling kits were these bins from Dollarama, because they work out to be $1 each, but I wanted to invest a little bit more in something more compact because the storage in my classroom isn't the greatest to begin with. And like, I know these cases, now that I've created them, I think are something that I'm going to keep post-pandemic as well, and whether they're used for storytelling tubs or to hold different items, that's we'll see what happens when we get there. But yeah, another like more cost-effective alternative to that are these like individual ones. Sorry, these smaller bins. They're about half a shoebox size, and what you could do with that too is have just Ziploc bags and put the materials in a Ziploc bag. And really, I think that would be like the most cost effective. It's just I wanted something that was a bit more durable as well. So that's storage. In terms of cleaning, like I tend to use storytelling kits with students for about like 1 to 2 weeks. So each student would have this kit in their book bin or wherever for 1 to 2 weeks. And then my plan is Fridays is when we typically have like some catch-up time or some center time, and we'll see what that looks like because I don't know my schedule for this upcoming year quite yet, but I was hoping to use some of that time while they are more independent, doing a little bit of tidy up. And I'm totally okay with doing it after school as well, because like sometimes we have to, and especially this year with cleaning, it's just something like I want to do storytelling with my students, so I know that I am going to be taking probably about 30 minutes to do all the cleaning. So my goal is Fridays after school for sure, if I'm unable to do it throughout the day, is to wash all of the materials so that I can leave them out to dry over the weekend. And then Monday set them up so that we can use them again. That's also why I wanted to have more than 22 kits, so that if I do fall a bit behind on the washing, I have other options for students to use while used kits are waiting to be washed. So I hope that sort of makes sense. Like my plan is Friday to wash, dry over the weekend, quickly reassemble on Monday, and have another week at it. Just the thought of that makes me exhausted, to be honest, but like we'll see how it goes. Like it might be every 2 weeks, and that's just what we do. And who knows, it might last a month and then we might be switching to remote. We'll see what happens. Take it day by day. I'm not going to stress about it if I'm not getting paid to stress about it quite yet. So that's one thing. The other thought that I had, initially I was going to include a piece of felt inside each storytelling kit so that it acts as a play mat. And the reason I wanted felt is because when they're playing on a table, it can be loud. Like those little gems, as little as they are, can be quite loud. So I wanted to just have like a bit of a buffer. However, when it comes to the cleaning of the felt, like I didn't want to figure that out. Honestly, I doubt I would be able to use it for cleaning. Something that was suggested was to, because like I have enough felt to do this, is to let the students use the felt. When everything else is being cleaned, take that felt back and put it in like a felt quarantine and then rotate out some other like new felt to be used and just let the quarantine time pass. But I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to do that. Like it's just another thing for me to think about. Like I don't want to do that at all. So my idea though is to have students draw out their own backdrop for the kit that they have. So that would just be on a regular sheet of paper. They can draw and color and decorate it however they want, and then they can play on top of it, like with the pieces that they have. But these play mats would be stored in page protectors inside a duotang. So each student will have a duotang for storytelling. They'll have a bunch of page, not necessarily a bunch of, really just one is fine, and they can put all their papers in it. But then that's where the mat would be, and that gives some softening. I know there's a better word for it. Like I'm pretty sure I used the word earlier, but it helps with the sound a little bit. We'll see how it goes. The other idea that I had was just to laminate some colored paper and keep those in the kits as well, but I don't want to wash laminated paper. either. So I think what's going to work best for me is having my students create backdrops for their kit that they keep in a page protector inside their storytelling duotang that they will use when we're doing storytelling workshop. So I'm going to stop there for now. Like, I know this is such a huge topic and I can go on and on. I am working on a written document that includes pictures of the kits with the vocab as well. So if you have the exact same things and wanted to do it the exact same way as me, you've already got that, good to go. As well as some ways that I use this to support my literacy instruction. And also my math instruction, because if you can use something in more than one way, definitely do it. With that, I'm going to end the video here. Again, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, thanks for watching and à la prochaine.
Goodbye.